Alright, guys, here's a big one. What would you do to ensure learning in a group of students who are probably going to use artificial intelligence to do most of their assignments?
Oh yes, guys, we have to be honest on this topic, and that's something that they are really doing it every time, and is being very frequent. So we have to keep an eye on that, because when we realize about it, it's gonna be too late. And I don't know, maybe all the people who finish high school, it's gonna be like they will not have any type of uh, skills or competence to continue with their studies.
Absolutely. You assign them to write an essay, and 5 minutes later they say, "Teacher, I finished." And of course, when you read about it, and when you read what they said, you say like, I mean, you don't need to be Sherlock to get it. What they did, basically, ChatGPT did everything for them.
And sometimes it's better written than anything I could do.
I agree, guys. But I feel like the solution is not like prohibit the AI, the artificial intelligence, or ban it, because it's just like a matter of learn how to use it, how to use it properly. For example, I mean, for me, it's like unfortunate that we cannot continue using like the Bloom taxonomy. You remember this pyramid that we used to use to evaluate? Like on the very top, we had just like very basic information, very basic activities like memorize, evaluate, match, some very basic. And then on the top, we had something more like complex, that it really proves the like their learning. But unfortunately, we cannot just continue using that, because it's like they can just simply ask the AI to create it, and that's it. So for that reason, I feel like a really good strategy could be just like ask them to verbalize everything. If they have I don't know, an essay, if they have any type of research, uh, they have to create opinion. So I would say that we should start to implement that part that includes the verbal part, and on that case we can reassure that everything they are sharing, everything that they are learning, is really they are keeping they are like really keeping that on their minds, they are keeping that on their brains, and they will continue using those skills for the future. That's like my humble opinion of what we can do in this case.
I think we as teachers need to change the way we perceive or to define the way we define what is a grade. I mean, what the students are doing at the end of the day is a reaction of what the system requests us and requests them to do to have better grades. If you have an A or if you have a 10 in your projects, then you are going to be on the top. But if you don't achieve like the normal parameters of what the system told us, that is a normal parameter or like the standard, then they are going to fail and they are useless for the class and also for the society. So my idea is that basically we should stop focusing on giving them how to say this, or promoting this sense of competition, of pointless competition between them, and encouraging them to think by themselves, to have and developing an own criteria about what's going on in the society nowadays.
So we need to rethink the way that we evaluate.
Definitely, Andy. So I feel like at this point we have to just think about how we can create a new system of evaluation, in which we can no longer like just evaluate what they produce in a piece of paper, because they are just like taking that information from sources that are not like trustworthy. So what I feel is that we really have to start implementing different activities like debates, real-time games, something that can prove like the verbal skill, and something that proves that they are really keeping that information on their brains. and not just write it down in a piece of paper that now, unfortunately, I can say that the percentage is very high, where all the students are just like copying and pasting all the information. So now we just have to prove that they are really doing their job as students, and taking the information and keeping that information on their minds, and we that learning is being like significant, and is being uh, like reassured that they will continue using that knowledge for the future.
Most importantly, AI should be a tool, not the author, because at the end of the day, learning is still the student's responsibility. What I'm trying to say is that promoting critical thinking throughout the whole classroom could be like the answer of this problematic that we as teachers are facing nowadays. How to avoid, or well, not to avoid, but take AI as a tool, a tool that maybe can help us to make things kinda easier, but without losing our own beliefs, our own thoughts, and at the end of the day, what we think or consider correct or incorrect. Students are using AI because they are scared of failing a grade. They are scared of this idea of not being that proficient or not being that prolific. They are scared of failing a subject because that's what, at the end of the day, that's what institutions are doing nowadays. They are just focusing on developing this systematic way of thinking in which students don't ask questions and they don't even argue against some situations that might happen through the whole classroom or even in our society day by day. So, what I'm trying to say again is maybe deconstructing and making the students the main participants during their whole process of learning. I mean, understanding their perspective, of course, testing them in order to improve these skills that they are gonna need in their school, in their university studies or whatever, or even in their lives. Skills that are needed. And I think maybe if we as teachers put in the same shoes as the students, maybe things could change. Maybe if we stop believing in this relationship in which professor is here and students here, but it's like a horizontal relationship in which if there is respect, then both of them, teacher and student, are exactly the same and chasing the same objectives. And yeah, basically, the point is AI is not a devilish tool or is not going to uh, leave teachers without any job or is not the is not that bad. Unfortunately, the AI is used badly because it's only like the reaction of what the system asks students to do to have great grades so they can pass the another course. But what about the critical thinking? What about their own thoughts? Are they agree or disagree with what this AI speech is saying? We don't know because we don't even take the time to ask them if they truly believe or if they truly embrace what they are asking the AI to do.